What's up, y'all? Happy Aries season. I'm filming this on the equinox, so the sun just ingressed into Aries, and how are y'all feeling? Are y'all already like picking up energy? We had the Pisces new moon like 2 days ago, and even though we are now into Aries season, don't think that the Pisces energy is over just yet. Mercury is going direct right now, so thank God, Mercury is finally direct, but it's still in Pisces, still a little bit nebulous, still a little bit foggy as far as kind of our mental processes. And Mars is still in Pisces, so now that the sun has ingressed into Aries, Aries is still ruled by Mars, so we're still doing this Pisces energy, and it's really just about flowing. It's really just about meeting your truth is kind of the phrase that I've been using, especially in regards to this Pisces new moon that we just had. Stepping away from trying to meet expectation as far as who we are and how we're navigating our life, and leaning more into meeting our truth, meeting who we are, without kind of the limitations or restrictions that are put on us, right? Whether that's external or internal, like mental. So, I actually have not taken notes on this, and I've been taking notes for these videos for like the past few months. I didn't have time this time, so I did pull this spread, but I didn't take notes. I have my cards that I made for myself to clarify. So we're just gonna go through it. I'm already seeing some real soulful energy. Like I see some fire energy, some wands, some cups. There are some swords in there as well, but I really feel that this energy, this first half of Aries season, is super soulful for us. It's really a divinely inspired time. So I think I'm going to call this, divine inspiration. So before I get into the tarot message, I'm going to start off with the Barbie Oracle. And I'm going to pull a Barbie Oracle for us to see just to tap into this Oracle to see, kind of one of the main energies that we're going through. And then after we do the tarot message, we're going to close with the wild unknown animal spirit. So let's start off with the Barbie, see what we are working through as a collective for the first half of Aries season. Whoa. This card wanted to jump out. It's Alan! What? Okay, I'm super excited to read that. So let's see. First, let me find out what page Alan is on. Alright, Alan is on page 45. Alright. So let's take a look at Alan and see what this says. Alan, Ken's longtime buddy, was introduced in 1964, rocking the colorful stripes and expanding the friend circle. Alan is a supportive friend, always there when you need him. He was so tight with Ken that they even exchanged clothes. We all need an Alan in our lives. He's so much more than just Ken's buddy. Like the original Alan, you may be a bit of a wallflower at times, but that could be your strength. You know that old saying about how still waters run deep? Take it to heart. Just because you're not the center of attention 24/7 doesn't mean you don't have something to offer the world. That gentle, quiet nature may just come in handy in the very near future. You have more influence than you think. It's up to you to figure out how to wield it. I love that last sentence. It's up to you to figure out how to wield it, your influence. I really think this is about really tapping into yourself, right? Because they were saying that, Alan sometimes can be a little bit of a wallflower, but there is still a unique strength that Alan brings, right? So I feel like you're tapping into your unique strength. You're tapping into your truth. So let's get into the tarot message. I did pull the rainbow spread. So the first position is kind of the energetic sphere that we were stepping into at the beginning of Aries season. And you guys, you can't make this up. It's the Ace of Wands, which is that pure fire, that pure spirit energy. This is literally the energy of inspiration. It's the energy of action. This is taking an action. This is creative inspiration, creative impulse. Something is lighting our fire right now, right? Makes sense, stepping into Aries season. I'm calling this video Divine Inspiration because, when we're in Aries season, The energy is very personal. It's very much focused on self and what you personally want, right? And with Mars still being in Pisces, there is still this kind of nebulous, otherworldly, spiritual energy that is kind of influencing that drive, that personal drive. So divine inspiration. I want to pull from my cards to see what else is coming through with this Ace of Wands here. And we've got the neither here nor there, Two of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so at the beginning of Aries season, we are really moving forward with kind of taking action on personal inspiration. Whatever that is like lighting your fire right now. It feels like, we've been in a place of kind of cognitive dissonance as far as what we want to do or what choice we want to make. As far as like moving forward with this, right? Because with the Two of Swords, we kind of have this black and white way of thinking. You could be like, this is right, this is wrong, I can be this and I can't be this. With the Ace of Wands, it's like, I can do this and I shouldn't do that, right? I should do this and I shouldn't do that. But not always engaging with the emotional truth on why you were kind of caught between decisions in the first place, right? So when the Ace of Swords is in the reverse, it's saying, okay, I am ready to put down the black and white, trying to like make rational or practical meaning out of these choices on where your body wants to go or what actions that you want to take or, creative expression that you desire to experience. And it's saying, I'm just going to trust where my heart is, right? Where my body wants to move, where this energy is taking me. Let's see. I feel like for sure, like we're finally kind of deciding which type of inspiration or path we want to go down, right? But there could still be. I feel like there is a particular communication or information piece to this that we're ready to play with, right? So let's move into the next position. This is the healing position. I see this as how we're actively processing our energy and using our energy at this time. So we started off with this Ace of Wands where there is an inspiration, new inspiration right in front of us, right? And attached to this inspiration, there is a new perspective, a new way of creating meaning out of our reality. We move into the healing position, which is showing up as this Ace of Cups. And I love the Ace of Cups, love the Ace of Cups. It's curiosity about emotion, about energetic connection, right, that is stirring up within you. Because cups, water energy, definitely represents your heart space, those needs that we have for satisfaction and fulfillment. So with the Page of Cups, this is kind of a bid for connection, right? You see this inspiration in front of you. And so this Page of Cups is getting really curious emotionally about what this is. So there's three different energies that we're playing with, right? We're playing with the Wands energy, which is our active kind of impulse. And then we're playing with the Cups energy, which is stirring up, some type of heartfelt need that is being activated. And then we're also working with Swords, where we are needing to move forward with this with a new perspective. We're needing to allow ourselves to, just shift the way that we've been creating meaning in regards to this path that we are desiring to move down or meet right now. So in addition to this Page of Cups, we've got the Ten of Swords. 3 strikes, you're out. Okay, so I love this because, from the previous energy, there is a new perspective, obviously, that is required for us to engage with this new path that is inspiring us, or this new expression that's inspiring us. And, with the Page of Cups and the not Three of Swords, but the Ten of Swords, sorry, I have that big 3 on my card. The Ten of Swords, I always see that as like hitting rock bottom, being down and out, the old way of thinking about things no longer works, and there is a shift that is needing to be made, right? This Page of Cups and the Ten of Swords is so interesting because it is playing with the new perspective, right? And kind of seeing how that lands within your body, like seeing how that lands within your heart. Because there is the new inspiration, right? This is the curiosity. This is kind of swinging that sword for the first time, or, engaging with this divine inspiration, for the first time, and just seeing how it feels in your heart, right? Because I kind of see this too. I mix these energies a little bit, and having this cups energy with the swords energy, that's a 10. It's like almost like a 10 of cups, where, I feel like with this 10 of swords, in addition to the 10 of swords, there was an old way of creating meaning that we thought was going to lead to our happiness, right? Or we could have been really attached to all these particular ideas of what we thought we needed in order to feel that satisfaction. And, realizing now that you did all those things and you still didn't feel good. And so now you're playing with the new perspective, playing with a new way of meaning, and seeing if that is landing within us, And, I love that it's coming off of this Ace of Wands, because there is something external that is really inspiring us, whether that's a person or, just a deep inner fire that's been lit within you. The active energy, or the active, desire at this moment, is to finally close out that old perspective, finally close out that old narrative or that old story that was kind of influencing our conscious decision making, up until this point. So, the next position here is the sunlight. This is how, or what successes or achievements we can look forward to with this first half of Aries season. And we've got the High Priestess. And I love this because the High Priestess is a counterpart card to the Hierophant. And the difference between the two is the Hierophant will represent some type of external wisdom, or like seeking some guide or teacher or mentor outside of you. And then the High Priestess is really tapping into that internal wisdom, that intuitive sense or place within all of us, right? That just knows. You don't have to look outside you to understand what you're feeling energetically. And I love this for the sunlight, because I really feel like a lot of us are finally developing more intimacy with this part of ourselves, with this intuitive kind of gift that we all have, that we really can only access if we are present with those feelings inside of us, those feelings that stir up within us, And intuition really comes through with water and fire. And that's why I was so excited when I first saw, that Ace of Wands and that Page of Cups. Is very soulful. You know what you want to do, and you know how you want to feel. So if you are aligning with those two things, when we get here to the sunlight, it's like there is some sort of external validation that we receive that just affirms everything that has already been within us. What more is coming through here with this High Priestess? We got Mirror, Mirror, the Star card. So, yeah, whenever I see the star, I always say it reminds me of the song Reflection from Mulan. When will my reflection show who I am inside? Well, your reflection will show who you are inside once you're finally, in alignment with that. When you're finally in alignment with just who you are and your inner truth and your inner wisdom. And following those intuitive nudges that tell you where to go, what to take action on, that show you kind of where the energetic connection is. The mirror card, the star card, is also about healing. It's also about, wishes, as far as kind of goals that you have for yourself, or ideals that you see for yourself, and the life that you desire to experience. We have the opportunity to really get what we want at this time, but it's really all about aligning with your truth, meeting your truth, engaging with that inner wisdom, rather than, you know, kind of using your logical sense to fight your feeling, you know, because that's what happens when you're at the Two of Swords energy. You know, this was in the reverse. It did come through in the reverse, but upright, it's kind of that black and white sense of thinking that really creates the cognitive dissonance between your intuitive knowing and your intuitive feeling and, you know, just taking the action externally. So let's move into the grounding position, how we can stay grounded for these first 2 weeks of Aries season. And we've got the Fool card. Crazy card to get for grounding, right? But I like that this is coming through, especially since we also have the High Priestess, because the Fool, the very first of the major arcana, this is the brand new journey, the brand new path, taking that leap of faith and not knowing what's ahead of you. It's very instinctual. It's very in alignment with just kind of that gut feeling. When the Fool comes up, you know, imagine yourself in a field that's completely wide open, right? And the possibility is endless. The only caveat is that there is no kind of rules, you know, there's no outline or path ahead of you where you know what step to take. You just have to trust that it unfolds ahead of you. And the Fool, in alignment with this High Priestess, it's just, you just go where the energy takes you. Like, when you are tapped into the High Priestess energy and your intuition, you have an energetic barometer, essentially. And so when the energies around you shift and bounce off of you, then you know kind of where your body wants to go, you know, and then you move in that direction and then the path unfolds. You just have to trust that you'll know when you have to know. What else is coming through with the Fool card? Basically, for our grounding and having this Fool card, it's saying that, hey, you're not going to know what the next step is. You're not going to be able to, you know, have the privilege of being guided with like a mentor or with a already established kind of outline or framework for the new inspiration that we're going down. Whoa. All right, so what else with this Fool card for the grounding? Burn, baby, burn. Okay, this is, I believe, the Death card. There's a lot of purging that is going on, and I feel like there's a lot of fear in connection to this new direction, right? Definitely we are going down paths that we have blocked ourselves from, you know, kind of created these limitations and restrictions around it. And now that we're at this place where we're finally allowing ourselves to make that choice, you know, engage with that inspiration, it's really scary, right? Because we don't know what's on the other side of that, you know, kind of showing up with this Fool card, even though we're inspired. And it really causes us or requires us to have a purge in regards to our identity and, you know, everything that we thought that we were before we made this choice, before we finally allowed ourselves to engage with this inspiration that has lived within us. You know, the Death card is just, it's the classic theme of transformation. It's a metamorphosis, right? But you have to die to be reborn. So this is a rebirthing process. And, you know, it's painful. It's not easy to move through, obviously, but it does free you up. It does liberate you. It does provide an inner renaissance and allow you to finally, you know, tap into what is just yours, you know, exactly who you are without the expectation, right? No longer forcing ourselves to meet expectation and allowing yourself to meet your truth. That's what this energy is all about. So make those decisions, make those choices that take you down a path that you've never been before, and allow the old karma, the old identity, the old attachment to who you thought you were to dissolve, to fade away. So, next position we have the Serenity, which is how we can cultivate more peace for this first 2 weeks of Aries season. And it's coming through as the Seven of Swords, okay? Seven of Swords as how you can cultivate more peace. It seems a little bit antithetical, but I really think this is about almost this idea of compartmentalizing, right? The Seven of Swords typically would kind of represent withholding information. Sometimes it's only working with a certain amount of information or a certain perspective, so that you can kind of avoid the areas of life that you feel that cognitive dissonance, right? You avoid the areas where you have to contend with the truth of how you feel and the kind of expectation that you feel like you have to meet. So with the Seven of Swords and how to cultivate more peace while you're moving through this process, you know, if you are feeling like you're bumping up against yourself, especially logically, try to allow yourself to kind of open up your perspective more, right? See if you are only looking at the situation in a particular way, especially based off of past experience, and see if there is an emotional need or emotional truth that's coming up that is causing you to kind of feel like you're fighting yourself mentally, you know? I think throughout this process, if we're ever finding ourselves kind of hypervigilant, you know, or fearful and kind of playing into those old narratives, that's your cue to kind of, you know, become more present with yourself, you know, tap into, once again, that intuitive, energetic information. You know, if you are aligning with that sensitivity, once again, you know, it's like having an energetic barometer. And it's kind of easier to pinpoint exactly what perspective is holding you back from just being. What else is coming through with the Seven of Swords here? Okay. It is what it is in the reverse. So this is the Five of Pentacles in the reverse. So the Five of Pentacles, you know, it's the card of lack. It's the card of insecurity. I usually say that because it's Pentacles, this is like rating something a 5 out of a 10. So then it's kind of up to your kind of perception on whether you feel like you're halfway to your goal or if you feel like you don't have enough, you know? I like that it's coming through in the reverse because it really feels more like accepting kind of what you have at the moment or where you are at the moment and taking away that kind of connotation about the value, you know? This energy with the Seven of Swords and the Five of Pentacles in the reverse, you know, I think a lot of times, or what you might experience as we're moving through these 2 weeks of Aries season, you're going down this new path, you're finally engaging with, you know, an inspiration that you've kind of let lie dormant for a while, and, you know, because you haven't gone through this path before, you don't know where your foundation is, right? You don't know where your footing is exactly, which is also kind of represented by this Five of Pentacles. But when you are feeling that resistance, especially mentally, I think the guidance or the ask is to, one, be present with what you're feeling, and then two, take away any kind of instinct to put value on what's in front of you, you know what I mean? Or to, you know, feel like, you know, you're not where you want to be. Once again, that expectation. Let go of that expectation, you know? Be okay with where you are, even if you feel like you may have less than what you had before. It's all a part of this process that's all very purposeful in regards to having this rebirth of self, you know, being able to discover exactly who you are. You know, if you're always trying to chase something, or if you always feel like you're behind on a goal, you're going to fall back into those old narratives and those old patterns that were destroying you. They were restricting you. They were just causing so much like self-doubt. So in regards to cultivating more peace, step back from the value mindset, or the mindset of having to meet certain milestones or checkpoints, right? Let go of expectation and say yes to truth. Say yes to what is. All right, the last position here is going to be the message from Spirit. This is any advice, anything that we need to know or be aware of as we move through this first half of Aries season. It's coming up as the Devil, 1, and also the 6 of Cups in the reverse. Okay, so this is an interesting combination because the Devil, it's about choice, it's about decision. It's a counterpart card to the Lovers, where the Devil would represent, you know, kind of the what you know. It's the familiar hell, whereas the Lovers would be the unfamiliar heaven. With the Devil, you hold on to, you know, toxic situations, people, habits, patterns that are not serving you, because you know what you're getting out of this, right? You've always made this choice. You know how it's going to turn out. You know, you don't have to kind of contend with the unknown. But you know it's not for your benefit, right? Because with the Devil, you can sometimes feel chained or stuck due to like responsibility or like obligation, once again, expectation, you know? And so to have this coming through, you know, as the advice on what Spirit wants us to know while we move through Aries season, like, we're really contending with this Devil energy, kind of in regards to our emotional space, right? Because we do have this 6 of Cups. 6 of Cups would remind me of, remind is kind of the perfect word. It's like the past. It feels nostalgic. It is that childhood sense of nurture and feeling safe. This is what you received or did not receive, you know, in your childhood. And with the reverse, it's like feeling unsafe, you know? But this is such a curious combination here, because I feel like with the Devil influencing this 6 of Cups in the reverse, we could be tempted to hold on to all the situations that, one, don't provide that sense of nurture or fulfillment within us, but they also make us feel unsafe, right? And it makes us, and we hold on to it because that's kind of the narrative that we've grown up with. You know, we kind of had this lack in regards to feeling emotionally fulfilled and emotionally satisfied, but that's all you've known, right? And so whatever authentic parts of you that were pushed back in order to kind of align with the expectation of, you know, what the world told you should be, or, you know, whatever rules that you felt like you had to live by, when you're finally allowing yourself to step out of that, you're going to feel unsafe. You're not going to feel okay because you've never felt okay engaging with that or embracing that. But the curious thing is that if you are able to sit long enough with this, sit and be present, you know, kind of with these needs that have never been met, you flip it into having everything that you've ever wanted, you know, finally being satisfied deeply in the way that your inner child has always wanted to be. But it requires you to realize, especially when you want to hold on to former kind of ways of defining value and defining success, that might just be the comfort zone speaking, you know, and you're finally tapping in to getting your deep, authentic needs met And because of that, because it's really vulnerable and because it hasn't been safe in your past, that causes you to wonder if you're making the right decision or if you're doing the right thing. But you are doing the right thing. You know, you're finally allowing yourself to be open enough to have your needs met. But the scary part of that is that you've never been this open before. So don't let kind of that feeling of, you know, unsafety, if that's a word, don't let that feeling of unsafety cause you to revert back to the old narrative, the old perspective, the old understanding of self. And I'll pull one more from my deck for the message from Spirit. Okay, so close you can taste it. This is the Temperance card, and it's coming through in the reverse. So the Temperance card is always like a card of vision for me, right? There's always a 5D kind of ideal vision that you desire in your life to experience, but then there is the 3D kind of mundane reality of what your life is, right? So when we're working with this Temperance energy, we're trying to bridge that gap, and the reversal is showing that you're having a hard time kind of holding that tension. Think of the saying, feet on the ground, head in the clouds, and kind of try to figure out where you are in that regard, right? Do you have a vision of finally being fulfilled deeply, like having everything that you wanted as far as like your inner child needs, right? Are you stuck in the vision of that and not doing anything in your reality to align with that? Or are you I'm like trying to figure out how I can flip this. I really think, you know, the combination of all of these cards here is really speaking to this process that we are going through in regards to kind of aligning with that, right? I think the other way that this can come through is that, you know, with the Devil card is that a lot of us had an idea that having certain like experiences or like meeting certain milestones, right? And meeting certain checkpoints, those expectations, right? We thought that those things were going to provide the vision of happiness that we had. And then you had those things, you know, you met those checkpoints and you still weren't feeling the happiness. Your deep needs still weren't met. So this is the tension that, you know, we are trying to rebalance. Are you 2 feet on the ground into expectation? Or are you too head in the clouds with what you desire, but too afraid to make those active choices, you know, in your mundane reality? So that's what's going on here for the first, you know, 2 weeks of Aries season. To recap, you know, we're stepping into this energy with the Ace of Wands and the Two of Swords in the reverse. We're finally allowing ourselves to make the choice of engaging with our inspiration, what's truly inspiring us, what's truly lighting our fire, right? Then we move into the healing energy, which is the Page of Cups and the Ten of Swords, where we are getting curious about, you know, what it feels like to try on a new perspective, to engage with a different way of creating meaning out of our reality. Then we move into the success or the highlight of the High Priestess and the Mirror, where you realize that the more you engage with your personal truth and meeting your personal truth, then you realize that your external reality starts to shift. You know, it doesn't start outside in, it starts inside out. To the grounding energy, the Fool card and the Death card, listen, you're taking a leap of faith down a brand new path, a brand new journey. You don't know what's in front of you, but you are on this journey to kind of dissolve the former self. This is a personal rebirth, a personal renaissance that is occurring, So if you are able to sit with the pain of what is dying off and also enjoy, you know, the satisfaction of finally meeting some deep needs, like you'll be set with kind of moving through this. You know, it's not easy, but the pain is worth the revolution, the liberation. How to cultivate more peace. Let go of any perspectives that are attached to expectation of value, what success is supposed to be, what personal milestones that you're supposed to be hitting in life. That is not, that is, there, you know, life isn't like a one size fits all situation, right? And if you're kind of like looking at the certain milestones that we're supposed to hit as like a recipe, you know, you can make it your own and tailor it to your own liking and still make the same dish. And I hope that makes sense. To the message from Spirit, the Devil card, the Six of Cups in the reverse, and the Temperance card in the reverse. Listen, you are allowing yourself to finally have your authentic needs met, right? And when you are engaging with that, you're going to start to feel unsafe because the past narrative was that it's unsafe to engage with this or to honor this, right? Don't let that feeling make you hypervigilant and, you know, cause you to cling on to this former idea or perspective of what you need to do to reach your dreams, you know? Because it's really about the feeling. It's all about the feeling, and it's not about the tangible things, you know? Think of this concept of vision boarding. You know, you take all these images that inspire you, inspire the feeling that you want to embody, and then what you realize is if you are engaging with the things in your mundane experience, your 3D experience that already feel like, you know, the big vision, then you bridge that gap. You kind of quantum leap. So I hope that makes sense. It's going to take a minute for you to feel safe, kind of engaging with everything that you are and engaging with your truth and getting those deep, intimate needs met. But once you kind of sit with that and be present with that, you realize that, you know, your perspective kind of changes. Like you quantum leap, you experience a timeline shift where you're just like, oh my God, I have way less than what I thought that I was gonna have, but I actually feel like aligned with what I've always wanted, you know? So that is the tarot message. Let's close out with a message from the animal spirits and see what the animal spirits have to say for us for the first half of Aries season. Spirit, a message from the animal spirits for the first half of Aries season, how we are navigating this time and aligning with our divine inspiration. Okay, let's see. I want this one. Oops. Well, two wanted to come out, but the Cobra is the real one that wanted to come out. So I don't read reversals. There's no reversals with this because it's an oracle deck. But let's see what the Cobra has to say, and it is a fire energy, appropriate for Aries season. So let's see. Okay. The Cobra, pausing, waiting, the inner teacher. The Cobra represents a teacher or spiritual guardian. The Cobra hovers and watches, ever present, ever protecting, ever loving. The essence of the Cobra is found deep within us in the form of the inner teacher and manifests externally in those special guides who've led us along our path. What would it feel like to be a student again? What are you ready to learn? Remember the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So when it's in balance, a student of life is humble and it's wise. When out of balance, it's a know-it-all and it's egocentric. To bring it to balance, taking a class, study. All right, listen. Pausing, waiting, the inner teacher. That is the high priestess energy. Down. And this is exactly what I was saying with the High Priestess and the Mirror. You know, when the, what does it say? When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Even though with that Fool card, we're going on this new path, if you can sit with this sensitivity within you, once again, it's the energetic barometer. You meet the inner teacher, and that shows you the path. The essence of the Cobra is found deep within us in the form of the inner teacher and manifests externally in those special guides who've led us along our path. Externally, the Mirror card. As within, so without. The shift that you desire externally starts within. So when you're present with yourself long enough and make those shifts that are intuitive, the external reality starts to shift. But you have to shift first on the inside. So that is the message. Thank you all for, sitting with me and going through that. Like I said, this is the first time I've done this without notes in a little minute, but I feel like it was fun. Definitely let me know how you are feeling as we step into Aries season, and kind of the divine inspiration that is lighting inside of you at this moment. Give this a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to follow for more in the future. Share this with anybody who you think this will be meaningful for. And I also encourage you to check out my Ko-Fi page, and possibly donate or support if you feel so inclined. I really am called to put out these messages, and this is what I do. I have my business as a reader, but I don't have a day job, so the finances aren't so consistent. So if this helps and you feel inspired to support with a exchange of monetary resource, then that would be so appreciated. So check out my Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/RecklessAbandonTarot. And yes, I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.